had you up in the front garden a minute ago, and this is the same day, but I thought I'd bring you back here, and I'm about half ashamed of what I'm going to show you here, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, because it's not all fun and games, and it doesn't always work out the way you thought. But this is as sorry a corn as I've ever had in my whole life. And I planted this in another garden, this same seed in another garden down the street from me in a really nice garden spot. And it did about the same thing. And I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's not going to make. There may be a few right there in that center that make a ear or two, but that's pretty much a bust. I've got a whole bunch of wood chips over here. I'm gonna bring those wood chips, and I'm gonna just lay them over the top of this and just let it go till next year. It's like I say, I don't know. To me, it's got to have some nitrogen problems probably, but maybe you can look at it and just say, hey, I know exactly what's wrong with that. So put it in the comments. I appreciate the help. And then right down alongside of that, there's a nice row of green beans, and the deer ate them completely up. I didn't get anything put in this section here. I've got some big squash. I believe I'm going to put them in back here and let them see what they'll do. And this is what happens when you don't work your garden the way you should. You can't see it, but there's a few plants you might be able to see. This is some pumpkins, and there's lots of pumpkins down through there and over here, and it'll make some pumpkins, but I hadn't kept this going like I should. I ran a tiller down through the middle here. I got watermelons starting to run over here. I think there's about, I think I've got about 25 hills in right there. It's so wet, I can't hardly get out here and do anything, but we're plagued here with those big tall weeds that you see right here. I don't know what these are. I'm going to show you this one. It just completely fills this up, and I'm not going to spray for those. These pumpkins are going to do okay, but they're right in the middle of some of the best weeds I've ever grown. These are really doing good back here, so I guess that's pretty good. I don't fight these like I used to. I used to want it all nice and neat, and I certainly don't want this many, but I fight them till I give in, and then whatever I get, I get. This back garden is all forest back in there, and it opens up into hundreds of acres of nothing but forest. There's a little row cropping further back over. So I had a cover crop over this all winter long, and the deer came in really, really well, and so that's okay with me. I don't mind feeding the deer because they're going to feed me, and that's part of the trade out. So I like a good corn-fed, watermelon-fed, bean-fed deer, and I'm sure they'll be back in here when it's time to hunt. But I'm going to cover this. I'm going to cover this whole space. This is about, I'd say it's 150 by 100, and I plant all this with a walk-behind planter and keep it broke up with a tractor. And I'm going to put all of these chips in there and see if I can't get this built up just a little bit more. This was just pasture till I started gardening. This is the third year. So that pile there is a compost pile that's cooking pretty good. The rest of this is just solid chips, but I've got charcoal and manure and grass and one thing and another in that pile there. I'll turn it here in the next few weeks and get it stirred up and maybe add a little bit more, but I'm pretty much just gonna leave it the way it is. So anyway, that's the back garden, and it is what it is, obviously. But sometimes you get into a situation with, and I'm not gonna blame that on the seed. I mean, I didn't work it up much. That corn is, but it's as sorry as I've ever had. So hopefully we'll do better next year. Thanks for watching, and if you can like, subscribe, share, all that sort of thing, you know, that helps me out, so I appreciate it. I'll catch you next time.